What's up, everyone? My name is Tyler. You are watching Mom's Basement MMA, and today I'm speaking with an undefeated flyweight contender from California. His name's Houston Scibek, and he joins me ahead of his next fight. That'll be on September 13th at LFA 192. Houston, welcome back to, well, I guess welcome to the program for the first time, but you're a nobody, so I guess in a way, welcome back, Team Nobody MMA.
Yeah, of course. No, thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited to meet the next nobody, and it's a really interesting gym, man. Like, you're a very talented guy. You could probably train at any MMA gym in California, but you've chosen to train here. And can you tell me a little bit about your gym, Nobody MMA? Why is that a good fit for you? How did you end up training with these guys?
Yeah, so I mean, really the way I got started was like the gym's located like right down the road. So I had heard about the gym, like they were located like in the downtown area where I live, and then I remember hearing they moved like a little bit closer to where my house is. So I checked it out. This was probably like 2018 or so. Uh, Everything was cool. Started taking the classes. I was already like kickboxing at the time at another local gym, and so I was coming there mostly to start doing jiu-jitsu. And they started having me like come in and do MMA practices back then. But yeah, like it was just a good fit right off the bat. And then I went away, wrestled in college a couple years, came back after like 2020, and started fighting 2021. And yeah, these guys have. I mean, they're a real legit team. It's weird having it out in Suisun City, out in the middle of nowhere, a town of you know I don't know how many people, like maybe 20,000 or so people. But we got several pro fighters. Terrence is about to become a champ. Like we got a really good team, man, and I don't plan on going anywhere else.
It's a scrappy team, and I feel like that Nobody MMA name is a bit of a misnomer because of, to your point, yeah, Blake Perry there, and then there's Terrence Saturn, and he is quickly established himself as like one of the top flyweight contenders on the West Coast. And I was hoping we could talk about Terrence a little bit. Obviously, you have the luxury of training with this guy every single day. He's one of the top flyweight contenders on the West Coast. What kind of impact has Terrence had on your development and in your career specifically?
Yeah, I mean, tons of help. Like having somebody my size, first off, like that can be kind of hard. Like we're pretty small, pretty skinny. So like me and him are usually the only guys at the gym that are around the same size. So we always work together. We've known each other since high school, even though we used to wrestle back in high school. Uh, he beat me like for a varsity spot when I was a freshman. I remember that. Uh, and then yeah, just training every day. We get tons of good work in. We're always like mimicking each other, sparring partners for each other's fights coming up and everything. And yeah, it couldn't be much better, man. Couldn't be much better of a fit for us.
One thing about you, Houston, is I look at your resume and I look at the people that you fought. The two guys that you fought in your pro career thus far, they're animals and they have a ton of experience. You aren't taking easy fights. You're going out there and you're competing against eh, like savages. Can you tell me a little bit about what is your perspective? Like, what is your mindset when it comes to matchups? Because I see plenty of other young guys just like you that are fighting maybe not so good guys. And when you dig into your opponent's records, you look at what they accomplished on the amateur scene, you're taking the toughest fights you possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like pretty much ever since my second amateur fight, like they've been like they tried to get me a title fight, my second amateur fight, and ever since then, like I've been trying to fight as good of people as possible, people with experience. The two guys I fought as a pro, they were debuting, but they were both really solid guys. Silhanic, my pro debut, like he was an explosive dude, hit me pretty hard a few times in the first couple rounds of that fight. But like like you were saying, I don't really matchmake or anything like that. I just take whatever fights come to me. I'm happy to take on tougher opponents because it's going to move me forward quicker in my career. And really, all I'm concerned about, it's not like the fights themselves. I'm concerned about getting better. So like that's when I'm taking a fight, like it just matters like if the timing works, if the location works, if the pay's optimal for however far I'm going out. And it's worked out for these first three fights. Got another tough fight coming up, a guy that's 4-2, but wasn't shying away from it at all. I was pretty excited about the opportunity.
I wanted to quickly pick your brain about your most recent performance. That was at Uriah Faber's A1 Combat 20. You fought a very, very tough opponent, Michael Cornea, and this was a high-level grappling match. It looked like you were about to gilly him a few times. It looked like you were about to arm triangle him. It looks like he got you in a darce at one point. A very high-level, exhausting fight to just watch. Going into the third round, how did you have it scored? Like when you're in the corner and you're talking to Sonny, is he telling you it's one apiece? Is he telling you you're up by two? What was your mindset going into that third round against Cornea in your most recent fight?
I mean, well, we have a saying at our gym: third round, where's your heart at? That was one of the things he said. I remember that clearly. uh, but like, pretty much the mindset was we got to get a finish, or like, I was telling myself we either need to 10-8 this round or finish this dude. I didn't know if I was down 2 rounds. I definitely thought I lost the second round because I mean I spent like the last minute in the triangle, so I was like I gotta make sure I finish this dude. I gotta make sure I at least make a clear impression in this third round. Uh, I wasn't walking out with anything less than a victory, so thank God I found the submission. But yeah, I was pretty dead set. We got to get this guy out of there. I tried the arm triangle earlier in the round. He swept me. I kind of had a feeling after he swept me, like that's probably all this guy has at this point. Still took another minute from there, but I found that triangle and slapped it on and took the win home. Thank God.
And I was actually going to ask you about it. You got swept, and then it looked like he put you in a darce. Like, how tight was that darce? And like, was it like, did you really have to really focus in? Like, was it close at any point, or did it look a lot worse than what it really was?
It definitely looked like he didn't have the choke really there. Like I flattened my back out pretty good, so he couldn't really apply the choke there. I was just worried. Like I had no idea what the time was. I couldn't remember if anybody had given me an update on time. So I was like, "Fuck, I got like 30 seconds here." Turned out I had plenty of time, but still, that was all I was really worried about there with the darce or whatever you want to call that necktie he had me in. But yeah, the chokes, like he was never really close with any of the chokes. There was a Kimura in the second round that got, almost to the point where my arm was going to snap. But other than that, like nothing was too dangerous. Like even the triangle chokes, like I felt like I kept my posture pretty good. But he just kept sweeping me, man. That was the issue in the fight. His sweeps were really good. My balance from top probably wasn't the best, but we were just both constantly scrambling and moving.
You have a history of demonstrating advanced grappling, amazing jujitsu. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, what is your jujitsu background? Like, how did you become so adept at your ground game? Because that is an element of your game in particular that really stands out to me about you.
Yeah, so I mean, I like my base is wrestling, but like obviously I get taken down. I'm comfortable off my back pretty often. Like even when I wrestled, like I always got taken down first in all my matches. So I'm used to working off my back, working getting back up. So I've been doing jujitsu, like I said, since I started training at Train for Life in 2018. Back then, uh, I really felt like during my amateur career was when like my actual like submission skills started to fall into place. Like there was just let's see, it was probably like before my fifth fight as an amateur. Just things started to flow together. I started like getting more creative with my submissions. So I mean, it's been a few years where I've felt like this level of comfort with my jiu-jitsu, but it's always been like my strong suit and my go-to. It's just now I feel like I'm actually like at a pretty advanced level.
When I talk to guys like you, it seems like there's like one or two submissions in particular that are your money moves. And what are your money submissions that you feel that once you lock it in, nobody's getting out?
Yeah, so I've had a few RNCs as an amateur. I'd say not really that choke itself, but like my back control's really good. So RNC definitely, and then the triangles definitely my second go-to. But I mean, I got a lot, man. Like I like those guillotines. I was really trying to go for those against Michael Wood in the last fight. Arm triangle as well. But I like to mix it up. I'm trying to work on arm bars. I want to get good at leg locks, man. I just love submission, so I love throwing them up whenever it seems even like a remote possibility that I could get it. I'm gonna throw it up.
Well, I did want to pick your brain about your upcoming opponent that you'll be facing at LFA 192. His name's Aupuni Pagaoa. Looks like a tough, nasty Hawaiian guy. I did a little Tapology scrub on him, and I noticed one thing. He's only lost to very, very high level competition. Miguel Sanson,
Yeah.
one of his opponents that I'm pretty familiar with, and then Jordan Harris is another high level guy. So I look at him, and he looks like a tough, experienced guy. What are your thoughts about this matchup? What do you believe makes him a formidable opponent for you?
Yeah, so I mean, just looking at everything, it seems like he's got really good boxing, smooth footwork, uh, pretty good takedown defense too. So that's always something we got to work on our takedown offense a little bit more. He's gonna present a lot of problems. It's likely to be my toughest fight to date, but I'm more than welcoming that. Like I want to fight the best guys possible. I want to be able to beat the best guys possible. If I can't beat this guy and take a next step up, then like there's not much point in me doing this sport for a living. You know, like I'm excited for this challenge. I think I can beat him. I think I match up pretty well everywhere with him, especially on the ground. But I think we're gonna have some surprises for him. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough matchup for sure. I'm looking forward to that.
It's easy for a lot of people to overlook a lot of other major aspects of your mixed martial arts game because I've only been talking to you about grappling, but you're a mixed martial artist, and I know you pride yourself on other things that we may not necessarily see every time you go out there to perform. Your striking against Pagoa, do you feel that that might be overlooked and people might not be paying as close attention to your striking as they probably should?
Yeah, I mean definitely. Like I need to show up in that regard. Like I need to step up and actually try to land some strikes on the feet. But like I've been working really hard on my striking, especially lately. But like over all these years, like I feel like I've been there. I just need to get my feet wet. I just need to be comfortable. I need to take my time and be patient on my feet instead of like rushing and trying to land a big head kick or something. You know, trying to rush my takedowns. I think my striking is more than capable. I know people that I strike with, you know, regularly. I do pretty well in sparring. I feel like I think I'm gonna do pretty well in this fight too, man. I think I'm gonna have some surprises.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in UFC Fight Pass LFA 192, where Houston Scibek will be going up against a really tough opponent at LFA 192, or you're not going to want to miss it. Houston, I'll ask you one final question before we let you go. You get the job done here against a very formidable opponent. That to me is a very, very successful 2024, 3-0 and shining against high level competition. Where do you see yourself in 2025? And can you tell a little bit of my audience here, what can they expect when they hear your name in 2025 moving forward?
I mean, shit, I win this fight. Like I feel like I'm one or two fights away from hopefully getting on the contender series next year. That's a big goal, but like not trying to rush my career. I just want to take it one fight at a time. Uh, what you will be seeing from me is hopefully not hopefully, I'll be fighting for a title in 2025. Doesn't matter what organization. I'd love to climb the ladder at LFA. I know they're one of the biggest feeders for the UFC. So win this fight. I'd love to fight for them a couple more times in 2025. But either way, you're going to be seeing me holding a flyweight belt somewhere 2025.
Houston, I appreciate your time today, sir. And I wanted to give you a final opportunity. I know that there are a lot of people that work with you to help you create the best version of yourself in the gym that we'll be seeing come fight night. Were there any training partners you wanted to shout out or any sponsors that you need to talk about before I let you go?
Yeah, of course, man. So definitely want to get my sponsor, Panoscopic. I got their hat on here. This is their logo. But I got the links for their websites in my Instagram bio. You can follow me at hdaddy.mma. But yeah, Panoscopic uniforms, Panoscopic productions. They do a ton of great stuff. They make great clothing as well. Really can't thank Panoscopic enough. Can't say their name enough. Big thanks to them. Big thanks to Team Nobody, of course, out in Suisun City. Coach Sonny always giving us great work, always giving us great advice, helping us out in and out of the cage. Terrence, obviously, being my main training partner. Awesome training partner for this fight coming up, especially like given their size and their styles. It works out really well for me. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to miss anybody. I got tons of coaches, tons of training partners. They all know who they are. Big thanks to all you guys. I wouldn't be where I am without any of them. So yeah, just thanks to everybody at the team and everybody in my family as well. Yeah, just thanks.
Well, there you go. There you have it, Houston. I appreciate your time. I wish you the best of skill next month. I'm looking forward to the fight. I look forward to having you back on the program very soon.
All right, awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time, man. I really appreciate it.